A few days ago, Kenya's Daily Nation carried a super fascinating piece. Indeed, that article was more than explosive. But many of us missed the reason why that article was so explosive. And I will tell you. It told us, it insinuated that the fourth president of the Republic of Kenya, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, has caused a split within Azimio. He has made moves that have been responsible for breaking up Azimio into pieces. That was very clearly what that article was saying, if you read between the lines. Because the article insisted that Uhuru Kenyatta has been doing everything in his power to scatter the bipartisan talks, national dialogue talks that were going on at Bomas. He even held meetings at Raila's current home with the Azimio leadership to discuss those talks at least twice. Now, despite what has happened in recent years concerning the Nation Media Group, where many people have felt that it has lost its glory as a very reliable newspaper that has gotten a lot of valuable information for Kenyans. Despite all that, let us realize that if indeed that statement widely believed by Kenyans is true, then the problem cannot be with the journalists and those who are gathering information. What I'm saying is that we need to keep on respecting the nation's ability to get information. They've been in this business for very long. They've been doing this for a long time. And when people do something for a long time, when an organization does something for a long time, it has a certain advantage, expertise. Bottom line, what I'm saying is that most of that information in that article is accurate. Okay? So where's the problem? The problem is in putting all that information together. Okay? So that you conclude and tell people this is what this information means. And indeed, that is the problem we have in our media currently. On my show today, I want to introduce a brand new angle. And that is, can we look at that information about all that drama that has been within Azimio and then link it, wait for this one, to the recent meeting Uhuru Kenyatta had with envoys from the United States, the United Kingdom, the European Union, Switzerland. Bila kizungu mingi, the meeting he had with the wazungu. Because I firmly believe these two are not only linked, but once we've been able to find the real link between the two, we will be able to totally understand how to digest this information, how to analyze it correctly, and pronounce what exactly it means politically and to the country called Kenya. And first, let's get something out of the way, okay? And I'll get it out of the way by asking a very simple question. Would it be in the interest of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, fourth president of Kenya, to destroy the Azimio coalition? Simple question. The simple answer is no, and a very firm no. It would not be in the interest of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta to destroy Azimio. Indeed, the very opposite is true. It is in the best interest of the former president that Azimio remains intact and powerful. Okay? So now that we've gotten that one out of the way, let us proceed to something that I believe will blow your mind. And I'm not kidding. But first, allow me to do two quick things. I would like to thank from the bottom of my heart all those of you Kumekuchans, Kumekucha supporters, who have responded during this season and have gifted me very generously. Thank you very much. And I appeal to those who are still coming to take note of the number you see in front of your screens right now. And thank you so much in advance. Usually this boost helps me more than most of us will ever understand. It is one of the key reasons why this channel is able to survive and go through so many challenges in this fight for a better Kenya. It is not easy, but it must be done. And thank you so much, Kumekuchans, for sticking to your word and being consistent through these 2 years or so. May the Almighty God bless you abundantly. I would also like to introduce to you, or rather to reintroduce, our sponsors for today's show. Nightingale Apartments along Serena Road in the Shanzu area. These are very beautiful 1-bedroom apartments in a very quiet, serene area. Now this is the time for late bookings for the Christmas holidays. And you have a unique opportunity because these apartments are so affordable yet so classy. You have an amazing opportunity to rush and make your booking. You know, these apartments are right next to the big boys in that area. Yeah, Serena Beach Resort, Pride in Flamingo Resort and Spa, Mombasa Continental Resort, etc., etc. Yeah. And I'm sure most of us would love to stay in the same area where others are staying and paying much more than we are paying. Yeah, but enjoying the same quality of service and the same quality experience during these Christmas holidays, which most of us Kenyans really deserve, considering the year we have been through. Okay, you can see the telephone number on your screens right now. Give them a quick call and secure your comfortable residence these holidays. And of course, I'm so grateful to Nightingale Apartments for once again sponsoring yet another show on this channel. Asanteni sana. Now, in case you're also interested in sponsoring a show, you can see details on your screens right now. It is yet another way of supporting me and what I do on this channel, even as you're able to meet your objectives, as a business or a service. Right. I have found the most profound statement by any politician in recent times that quickly summarizes these bipartisan talks, drama, and everything surrounding it. And I'm going to share it with you. Some of you people may have come across it, but I highly suspect most of you have not. It is very revealing. It gives us the whole story in a brief, simple statement. In fact, it is a brief, simple sentence. Here goes. And this is what Martha Karua said. You know, the Iron Lady is no nonsense. She does not peddle lies or theories. She speaks truth directly. Upende uspende. This is what Karua said. And I quote, "The committee was formed." Of course, she's referring to the bipartisan chaps. "The committee was formed by the unwilling, composed of the incompetent, to do the unnecessary." Now let's very quickly break it down. What does she mean when she says the committee was formed? by the unwilling. It means both sides of the political divide were not willing to sit down and talk. Okay? Now we already know that, I think. But anyway, in case there was any doubt, there it is. Now what this tells us is that these meetings Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was calling, to scuttle the talks, you now look at his actions in a very different light. He could not have been alone. Nobody was willing to go ahead with these talks. So who forced them into the meeting? We'll come back to that in a minute. Although I am sure most of us know. Okay? Composed of the incompetent to do the unnecessary. The very simple question we should ask here is, what was the necessary thing to be done? Because what was done, the bipartisan talks, was unnecessary. Okay, according to Martha Karua. So what was necessary? Well, the Iron Lady, moto ya kuotea mbali sana. Well, very simply put, the necessary was to announce the correct presidential election results of August 2022 and thus swear in the correct winner, the real winner of the presidential election 2022. And therefore you end up installing the correct 5th president of the Republic of Kenya, not the fake one, the correct one. That is what Martha means. What the Iron Lady was saying is that the talks were a complete waste of time and they predictably produced the wrong results. Nobody touched on the cost of living and the other things that affect Kenyans. Nobody touched on that. But she correctly traces the problem right from the beginning. This thing was formed by the unwilling, composed of the incompetent to do the necessary. And therefore what they produced was rubbish, predictably. Bila kizungu mingi, that is precisely what she's saying. Now with that Martha Karua statement, it is very easy to directly link. Kindly take note of my careful choice of words. It is very easy to link this drama of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and trying to scuttle the talks with the meeting President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta had with the Wazungu. This Karua revelation also now explains very neatly the behavior of gallant, patriotic Raila Amolo Odinga. It also explains why none of the usual suspects are saying anything about a return to maandamano. Hii mambo ya maandamano, wachana naye, sahau kabisa. Hakuna maandamano yengine mtakuwa naye nyinyi wa Kenya. Sahau hiyo maneno. Okay? Na munisikize na makini. Now, that is the Swahili translation of what some very powerful people said to Azimio. Now, let's talk about soccer. You have a deadly striker. He can score given a quarter or even a tenth of a chance. But he is very heavily marked. So what do? You have two options. One, take him off. Okay? Replace him with somebody else. Somebody who is also a good striker. Not as good as the one you have now put on the bench. But he can also score. In making this unpopular move, you'll also be doing something else very important. You will be protecting, conserving preserving your star striker for another match on another day. Option number 2, you can decide to pick another player to remove from the game. Okay, not this deadly striker, another player on the team, and then you replace that player with another striker, and then the role of your super dangerous striker changes. You pull him back. He's not in the penalty area. He moves around the middle of the field, and now he becomes a supplier of those crosses, a supplier of those passes that lead to a goal. Those are the 2 options you have. I believe from the bottom of my heart that is exactly what is happening currently in Azimio. Even as we throw stones on Raila Odinga, the star striker, that is what is happening. And when we grasp that analogy I've just given, you will completely understand all the drama that is unfolding in Azimio. And you'll also understand another earth-shaking fact. Azimio is not breaking up. It is reorganizing and regrouping. So, in other words, it is not that Karua, Eugene Wamalwa, and the Mount Kenya group have decided that the decisions being made within Azimio are wrong, that Azimio is going in the wrong direction, and therefore they have decided to pull away, stay away from Azimio, while pretending that Azimio is still intact. That cannot be the true position. Although admittedly, what has been happening can very quickly convince you that that position which is not correct is a correct position. You know, Kenyans have never been able to understand, most Kenyans, that when a man called Eugene Wamalwa speaks, it is actually President Uhuru Kenyatta, former President Uhuru Kenyatta, speaking. That is a Uhuru Kenyatta puppet, if we can call him that. With all due respect to Eugene Wamalwa, that is the truth. And Eugene Wamalwa is on record as having told us he has not signed that document, and he will not sign it. Same with Martha Karua. But they've also told us they're still in Azimio. But now that should no longer be confusing. You totally understand what is going on. You know, Azimio has one deadly weapon the opposition in Kenya has never had in its entire history. Can you guess what it is? Can you? This weapon is so deadly. Oh, it is so deadly. UDA and the William Samoei Ruto government have no chance against this weapon, this secret weapon. None at all. Okay? Now, before I tell you what it is, allow me to tell you a brief story. When the second president of the Republic of Kenya, Daniel Toroitich arap Moi, was suddenly pushed into the presidency, woke up one morning and suddenly found that he was the president of the Republic of Kenya, because Jomo passed on sometime during the previous night. Moi had no idea what the presidency was all about, and especially he had no idea how much power he yielded. He had no idea. He was just concerned about his personal safety. Hawa Wakikuyu watanimaliza. Believe it or not, Moi had to be persuaded. Please accept the presidency. True story. Believe it or not, true story. And for many months after that, the man walked around dazed. yeah, trying to absorb who he really was, trying to absorb what was happening. Yeah. When Mwai Kibaki took over the presidency, after a very memorable, free, fair, verifiable election in Kenya, indeed the only free, fair, verifiable presidential election we've ever had in our history, which took place in 2002, he had no idea what the presidency was all about. And that is why he did one or two or three things which clearly, yeah, showed Moi, his predecessor, huyu mtu ajui nini anafanya. Yeah, and they were not bad things. Mwai Kibaki chased away people who were coming to give him money in State House. Yeah, he told them, this one has ended, go away. So what mistake did Mwai Kibaki make there? Should he have accepted the money like his predecessor? No. The first thing he should have done is he should have made sure that the presidential press unit and all those people who give information to the press did not leak out that story. Then he'd have quietly told those guys, please, go away. I will be in touch. We will talk later. Now I'm sure most of you are surprised. Why should he have done that? Because he should have first understood the cartels that control the presidency of Kenya. He should have started first of all by understanding those. And then, number two, finding a way to deal with them. Finding a way to quietly dismantle them. Yeah? So that those guys don't know what hit them. So that at the end of the day, they don't affect his presidency. And more importantly, his power as President of the Republic of Kenya. The second mistake Kibaki made that must have told Moi clearly, this man does not know what he's doing, was his dishonoring of the Memorandum of Understanding with Raila and the LDP, yeah, part of the Rainbow Coalition that swept Mwai Kibaki into power. What Mwai Kibaki would have done instead would have been to bring Raila closer to himself. And then he'd have told Raila, we promised the people of Kenya 1, 2, 3. Let us put our heads together, work together very closely, and make sure we deliver. So number one, Raila, this is Kibaki talking. Raila, I want you to help me. We put our heads together and figure out this presidency thing. Deal with these cartels, kabisa. Yeah, have a united front and work for a better Kenya. That is what he should have done. When Uhuru Kenyatta took over the presidency as the fourth president of the Republic of Kenya, he did not understand what the presidency was all about. But he understood better than most because he had been brought up in State House. He had grown up in State House as a little kid and watched Jomo in action. He had been there as Jomo held very private meetings with the various people. He was there. But still, he did not understand. And sadly, he understood very late. He understood in 2015, more than 2 years later, when his government was in a very precarious position. And one of the first decisions he made, with the help of his very smart close advisors, was to completely tame and deal with his super powerful Deputy President, William Samoei Ruto. And the rest is history. The most powerful weapon Azimio has that no other opposition in the history of Kenya has had is that they have a former president, somebody who completely understands what the presidency is all about. And not only that, somebody who has been there and he knows exactly what is involved. In fact, he knows it so well that when Ruto makes a move, he can already tell you well in advance, this move he has made, 4 months from now, this will happen. 6 months from now, this will happen. A year later, this is exactly what is going to happen. Yeah, I'm sure you catch my drift. And therefore this powerful secret weapon has given Azimio something very valuable. The ability as an opposition, yeah, to be able to do nothing. The UDA government makes a decision. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta comes in and tells Raila, you see, this guy has done this. This is what's going to happen. And then Raila puts in his experience, the way he understands Kenya, yeah, more than most. Yeah. And Azimio knows exactly what is going to happen. 2 months, 3 months, 6 months down the line, a year later, they know exactly what is going to happen. And therefore, they have the luxury of issuing a half-hearted statement, yeah, saying we protest, blah, 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 but it's not coming from their hearts. And then they take a holiday. They go home and relax, and they just wait for nguruwe ijikaange na mafuta yake. For the pork meat to cook itself. No need to add any fat. No need to add anything else. Just leave it. Itaiva. It'll cook on its own fat, by the way. It'll cook until it'll get into a certain condition, yeah, that is ideal, yeah, for Azimio to deal with. I hope we have fully grasped what I've just said. But for avoidance of doubt, let me say this. All the drama you've been seeing in Azimio, hiyo yote ni Hollywood. All that is people putting on Academy Award performances, acting performances, yeah, while the real game is playing out in the background. That is really what it is. And therefore, there is no reason for Azimio to come crumbling down. No. For what? For what purpose? What would be the motivation? There is none. But that does not mean they're sitting pretty. They have a very big problem, very big, dealing with the powerful forces. Yeah? And that one, trust me, is no easy task. Because, let us understand this very clearly. The powerful forces, watu wazito, contrary to what most Kenyans think, do not care if there's chaos in Kenya. They don't. And I know most of you don't believe me, but let me prove it to you. Go and investigate very carefully the history of our brothers and sisters in a country called the Democratic Republic of Congo. You see, in some instances, it does not serve the interests of the powerful for certain places to be peaceful. It doesn't. And if other places that currently serve the purposes of the powerful to be peaceful, if things change and that place becomes chaotic, the powerful can very easily adjust their plans so that it is okay for there to be chaos and the interests will still be intact. Now that is a very major statement to make. I urge you, enda utafune pole pole. Go and digest it slowly and you will totally understand. Look at the agenda of the powerful. What do they want to achieve? What do they want to reduce in the world? What do they want to increase in the world? What do they want to add to the world? What do they want to introduce into the world? Look at all those things and then you'll understand totally what we're saying here. And never, ever, ever forget that the Mzungu is not interested in your well-being. No! Will never be interested. Will never ever be interested. Please, never forget that. Folks, drama being drama, Arab drama, Ole drama, Said drama, Nyar drama, Asi drama, yote pamoja. WIB number 116 is out. Has been out for a couple of days now. And those who have taken it in have had some very interesting comments. Yeah. And generally, they have found that it has helped them a lot to understand many of the confusing things that are unfolding in our politics right now. Yeah. You can take full advantage of our latest offer, 2005 Kenya shillings, and that is the year the Kumekucha brand was launched, May 2005, in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And in case you want to take this subscription via PayPal, it is only $15. And of course, you'll receive all the back editions since we started of the weekly intelligence briefings, well over 100. And then you'll be able to continue receiving at least another 52 weekly intelligence briefings. Yeah, 1 year subscription. And that means that if in a year we have not yet produced 52, your subscription runs until you get your 52 editions of the highly sensitive, very informative weekly intelligence briefings. Go for it. I highly recommend it. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.